Okay, we're ready for problem 66. Let me get a good marker. See what problem 66 is. All right. So let me write this down. So from 2 to 3, t to the 5th minus 3t over t to the 4th. All right, at first this might look a little tricky, but actually what we're going to do here is I'm going to simplify this by splitting this up into the two fractions. We should have done this before. Let me go ahead, not skip any steps, so in case you've forgotten. So I'm going to take this and break it up into two fractions, right? And now I can integrate. Well, first of all, let's simplify. T to the 5th over t to the 4th is just t minus 3t over t to the 4th is 3 over t cubed, which I'm going to go and change it to get ready to integrate. So now I can integrate these separately. So t squared over 2 minus 3 t to the minus 2 over minus 2. And all of that from 2 to 3. Let's simplify this a little bit. We'll call this 1/2 t squared plus 3 over 2t squared. So let's plug in 3 for the t's. Maybe do it down here in a room. 1/2 times 3 squared plus 3 over 2 times 3 squared minus 1/2 2 squared plus 3 over 2 times 2 squared. Nine over 2. This is 18. 3 over 18, which is actually 1/6. 4 over 2, which is 2. 3 over 8. Common denominator of 6, 27. 28 over 6 minus, this would be 16 over 8, 19 over 8. I can reduce this to 14 over 3. I guess common denominator would be 24. So that's 880. See if I can do these correct in my head. Multiply this by 3. 30, 57 over 24. So 43. What are the odds that I did all of these fractions in my head correctly? 55 over 24. Not super confident. Huh. All right. So now, here's one, like we sort of worked before, although when we had these graphs, you always had the top function, and then the bottom. Let's look at this. So you had a top function. Normally, the bottom of the area was just the x-axis. Here, the bottom is also a function. So in a sense, what you're doing is you're taking this top function minus this bottom function, and then you're going to integrate it from 0 to 2, right? So you take the top function minus the bottom function. And they tell you the top function is 16x, this bottom function is x to the 5th, and we're going from 0 to 2. So here they sort of want you to sort of go step by step. So it's going to be one integral, and we're going from 0 to 2. So it's got to be b. We're going from 0 to 2, and it's going to be 16x minus. So you take sort of what we consider the function sort of on the top, the function that is sort of higher up on the y scale, minus the function that's lower. And now we actually have to work out this problem. So let's write this down, because we actually will have to. So this is problem 67. So the integral is going to be from 0 to 2, 16x minus x to the 5th. All right, pretty straightforward integral. 16x squared over 2 minus x to the 6th over 6. From 0 to 2. Well, this is 8x squared. Plug in the 2 minus 2 to the 6th over 6. When you plug in 0 for x, both these terms end up being 0. So there's nothing to subtract. So this is 4. This is 32 minus 2 to the 6th. That's 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Which is 32 over 3. Got to get a common denominator. So this is 96 over 3 minus 32 over 3. All right, if I didn't mess up, looks like 64 over 3. Now here, they're going to give you a graph. They give you two functions, y equals x, y equals x cubed, or from 0 to 1. Now the key is we have to figure out of these two functions, which one is quote unquote on the top, which one has larger values of y when we're looking from 0 to 1. So we're going to have to make a little bit of a sketch of our own. It doesn't have to be exact. You just have to get a feel for what it looks like. So let me write down the two functions. We have y equals x, and then y equals x cubed. And we're looking when x goes from 0 to 1. So this is number 68. So let me sort of tell you what I mean by this. We need to make a quick sketch, and all we really care about is when x is 0 to 1. But just to make it a little bit easier, I'll draw a graph from 0 to 2. Well, y equals x, we know is just so there's y equals x. Y equals x cubed. When x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 8. It's way up here. And I think if you look, this is not going to look so great, but it's going to look a little bit like this. You see, eventually, very quickly, the x cubed function is larger, or is higher up than the x function. But since we're looking in this region, here's the area we're looking for. And you can see in this area, the y equals x is above x to the third. So that means the problem becomes x minus x cubed. So you have to really have an idea of what this looks like to know which order to put these in. So now x squared minus x to the fourth over 4 from 0 to 1. So 1 squared minus 1 to the fourth over 4. Once again, you plug in the zeros here, it's just 0. So 1 minus 1/4, it looks like, I'm going to say the area is 3/4. And that's not correct. So let's go back. Let me look through this real quick. So x minus x cubed. Oh, you probably saw it when I did it. I messed up on my integral. X squared over 2, right? This is already 1/2. Sorry about that. 1/4. I guess this just shows you that everyone makes mistakes. You gotta try and be careful. So let's try 1/4. All right. Here's another one. Now they're not even saying what the x limits are. We have to figure that out. So we have negative 6x squared and negative square root of x. So we definitely have to graph these and see what's going on. Let me write this down, and then I'll show you even how to mathematically figure this stuff out. Something I haven't shown you yet. So the two functions are y equals negative 6x squared and y equals negative square root of x. So I'm going to go and graph these, see what it looks like. And then I'm going to show you a mathematical way, because the key is going to be knowing what our values of x should be. And we can maybe look at the graph and see it. Well, let's just go ahead. Let's do it. The way you determine we're eventually going to have an integral And we want the value of x on the left part and the value of x on the right part, right? So like this previous problem, we went from 0 to 1. So these are where the two functions intersected. Well, they don't tell us where these intersect. One way to do it mathematically is you actually, if you set these equal to each other and solve this equation, this will be this. If I solve this for x, this should tell me the values of x where these intersect. So the negatives cancel out. I'm going to square both sides, right? Because when you square root, so this is 36 x to the 4th equals x. Now I'm not going to cancel here, because if you cancel here in the world of math, sometimes it causes you to lose your solutions. So it's a little crazy, but what I'm actually going to do is subtract x from both sides. I'm going to factor out an x. Now I need to solve this. Well, obviously one solution is x equals 0. To solve this, excuse me, add 1 to both sides, divide both sides by 36. Now, x would be the cube root of 1 over 36. Now, unfortunately, the cube root of 36 is not a nice number. So that means I'm going to go back and make sure I didn't make any mistakes. So 6x squared equals x. Factor out an x. You get this. So from 0 to, I don't see my mistake. So I'd be shocked if this is correct, but I wonder if they ask for an exact answer or all right. I'm just thinking out loud because this one is just too. Let's go ahead and draw the graph and see what it looks like and then see if this sort of makes sense, because this still worries me. It should have worked, but so if we were to first, let's graph y equals negative 6x squared. Easiest way to graph for me, you can use equations and stuff, but sometimes I just do the old xy. So when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is negative 6. How about when x is negative 1, y is negative 6. X is 2, 4, negative 24. So that's this first one. The second function is y equals negative square root of x. And I'm going to say when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is negative 1. X cannot be negative. So let's put in 4, negative 2. So let's graph these two functions and see. So the negative 6x squared. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this problem's a little involved. So here's this first one, 0, 0, 1, negative 6, negative 1, negative 6. Now these two numbers are way down below. Matter of fact, this should be a negative. This is going to be a parabola. So that's this function. This one, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 4, negative 2, now if I put a 9 in here, it would be negative 3. And this doesn't look too great either, because this should be normally y to the x squared is 0, 1, and 4 is 2. Yeah, this can look like this. I don't see where an area is formed here unless it's really, really close to the origin. So in other words, maybe it's way inside here. Let's see what that number is, because maybe that's what it is. This is a bad problem. So the cube root of 36. So I'm going to put 36. Oh, here it is. 36. 3.3. All right, well, I'm mystified. Let's let them help me solve it. Now I'm going to see what they do. See, they said equal to each other. So it is in here. I'm sure it's 0. So it is a very small number you can see in here, because 1 is right here. Oh, it's 1 over this. So I may be doing it correct after all, because this is what it works. 0.303. Do they want an exact answer? It looks like it's about 0.3. Let me put in, see if it likes this. 1 divided by 36. Wow, that is so ugly. That is correct. So I did the math correctly. So then, all right, so sometimes I make these problems so crazy that if I knew this before I started, I'd never assign this problem. So basically, I'll write it here. We're going from 0 to 1 over 36 to the 1/3 power of the negative 6x squared is on the top minus a negative square root of x. Now I'm going to finish this problem just to prove a point. This will be the last problem on this video. So if you want to stop and go to the next video, feel free. But just to prove a point, I'm going to see if I can get this correct answer. So when I integrate it, it's going to be negative 6x to the third over 3 plus, this is x to the 3 halves over 3 halves, which is 2/3. And we're going from 0 to this crazy, I'll write it as cube root of 36. So this ends up being negative 2x cubed plus 2/3. I'm going to write it like this, x cubed square root. From 0 to 1 over the cube root of 36. So negative 2, plug this in for x. You cube this whole thing, and you get 1 over 36 plus 2/3. You cube this whole thing, and you get 1 over 36. But the square root of that is in 1 over 6. So negative 1 over 18 plus 2 over 18, 1 over 18. That's a crazy, ugly problem. And I still didn't do it right. I wonder if I... Well, let them help me again, just because. Oh, that gave me a different problem. All right, I'm done. I'm out. All right, let's stop this video and we'll pick up